You know, I actually was advised not to do this. The company said, don't do this, Noah. Most of your stats are lies. You're full of shit. Like, I don't even know if any of this is true. But you know what? I have to call it out when I see it. And I've been reading a lot of Facebook articles. I know the truth here. So I'm going to go right out and say this. I'm calling on all poppers, kernel heads, kernel cuties. I know some of you out there call yourselves kernel cuties. You're all beautiful, except for the ugly ones. Of course, you're disgusting. But I'm calling for a boycott of Avatar: The Way of Water. I know. I know. That's shocking. That's shocking. No, I'm a fan of auteur. I'm a fan of James Cameron. Terminator 2, so good. But I am calling for it. I think that is important that we understand that even amazing auteurs, I mean, you know, not Chris Nolan level, certainly, or your Spielberg, but, you know, amazing all the same. He, you know, I saw my first boob in seeing Titanic, so obviously, like, I know this is a big ask for a boycott. And the reason for that is because the movie Avatar: The Way of the Water, despite its environmental themes, was a nightmare on the environment by all intents and accounts. But before I begin, I don't want anyone to think that my heart's not in the right place with this, or that someone's paying me, or there's outside influences. Like, no, that's not the reason I'm doing this. Some people might point to the fact that Jenna Ortega had some recent tweets coming out as an environmentalist. You know, I didn't even notice that. And sure, I have 5 accounts that retweeted and liked it and said, you know, step on me, mommy. And if I pulled Jenna Ortega as a result of this, that's just a happy accident. So it's not really what this is about. But yeah, sure, it would be nice. I just want to get into it. Our Kernel reporters have cracked some jaw-dropping secrets about what really happened during the making of the film, what really went on behind the scenes. And I can tell you right now, once I'm done, you will not see Avatar: The Way of Water. So let's get right into it. Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, sees the return of... Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to look at my notes here. What's the guy's name? He was... Monsters Inc. character, I think, is something like that. It was Jake Sully, as he continues his journey on Pandora. If I'm going to give the movie any credit, the visuals are stunning, from what I saw from the trailers. So I haven't seen this movie. I saw the trailers. I went to an advanced screening of it in a blue morph suit, and I was kicked out because I threw blue-dyed pig's blood at James Cameron's face. You know, it was like a protest, you know, like, oh, what you did to the planet is like what I did to this pig I slaughtered and then, you know, dyed its blood blue, you know. It's metaphorical, and I don't expect all my fans to understand my reasoning. Underneath this film is a production riddled with irreversible acts of environmental damage. I mean, our reporters found some truly disgusting stuff, and I'll talk about it right here. Like, to make room for the servers that stored the film's project file, which, you know, an enormous file, like 3-hour plus movie, that they chopped down 10,000 endangered trees just to make room for the servers that stored this file. It's crazy. Servers that were running the motion capture footage excreted enormous amounts of heat, and cooling them down led to 20,690 kilotons of carbon dioxide added to the atmosphere. Horrible, horrible for the environment. My God, guys, we have one Earth. I mean, are we forgetting all that and all this? Pandora's not even real. You know, the rendering process of this footage is equivalent of 100 cruise ships running at full speed. 100 cruise ships. And that's just rendering the process of the footage. There was no recycling of any sort of kind with the movie. It's disgusting. That's an area where, like, we've seen massive improvements, is the reuse of sets and pieces. No, James Cameron apparently, if I can't keep Pandora, they can't either, and just threw it away. On top of that, they constructed the biggest soundstage of all time. We're talking the largest soundstage ever made, and they constructed it exclusively on Native American reservation with no permits. I mean, how is he getting away with this stuff? Was salvaging the wreck of the Titanic so impressive that the U.S. government will just, like, turn a blind eye to this? Worse than this, we have a quote from James Cameron. I had to obtain the spirituality of the tribal lands, which would guarantee the sequel to amass a $3 billion box office worldwide. He was trying to get some sort of spiritual karma by building on these lands as, like, some sort of guarantee of box office success. I mean, the greed of this man knows no bounds. I mean, we know the film's huge production cost means the film will need to generate more than $2 billion at the global box office just to break even. And you know, people go like, oh, well, you know, it's a massive scale project. No, apparently, most of the budget came from fines from being sued by environmentalists so much. This is crazy. If you didn't know this, the majority of the Avatar budget was in litigation because they were being sued so heavily by the indigenous populations they were screwing over from environmental activist groups. A lot of people think that came from CGI. No, CGI is relatively cheap these days. I mean, we're already getting reports the film will not gain anywhere near this amount of money back, so it's just... What was the point, James Cameron? Apparently James Cameron knows this because he has a backup plan. Now, this is getting leaked from Fox Disney. Apparently, as a backup plan, James Cameron is manufacturing movie tie-in Na'vi pocket pussies. You're hearing me right. His backup plan, if Avatar doesn't cross the $2 billion threshold, is to create sex toys to simulate sex with the Na'vi people. And you know what's worse about this? Because if we're talking in the environmental tone, because, I'm a big fan of pocket pussies, but what's even worse with this is the plastics used for this specific, because they have to get the blue coloring, that's not easy. It will take 100,000 years to biodegrade. 100,000. And, these things are going to sell out. These are going to be enormously popular. If these, I'll have a couple, sure. But this is insane, especially if they have like a hair link to tie into. Yeah, of course. And finally, I think they revealed in James Cameron, one of his final trials about this, when the environmentalists are going, you're killing, you're taking too much. James Cameron, no remorse, stated, in order to create a world, we had to sacrifice our world. This was his mantra during the whole filming of Avatar. If you care about the environment, do not go see this film. Maybe it takes someone like me, bold, handsome, tenacious. Jenna, if you're still listening, loyal to a fault. Maybe it takes me to say it, but I want to put this on record. If you care about the environment, you will not see Avatar, The Way of Water. And I hope that we send a message to James Cameron with a poor box office performance. I hope we do. Xenu be with everyone. Glory to Scientology. And you have a great day. Fuck you, James Cameron.